G'day superstars. I never thought I would be doing a review on a computer mouse, but there's a good reason for that and I'll explain it. But here is the mouse I'm talking about right now. About 30 years ago, when I was a structural steel fabricator, I injured my back. I was moving some frames along the concrete floor. They were quite heavy and I was pushing them and twisting, and as I was pushing, the frame caught a spot in the concrete and stopped dead, but I kept going and I pulled a muscle or a tendon in between my shoulder blade and my spine on the right side. Now that took about 6 months to heal and everything was fine. I went back to work and everything's good. And every time I injured my back after that, it was always that same spot. Years later, once I got out of structural steel fabrication and moved into photography like I'm doing now, I thought my problems were gone when it comes to that back issue. But for some reason, when I'm using a normal mouse, pain starts to aggravate that area. The constant clicking and holding of the mouse and flexing of the forearm, which you do when you're holding a normal mouse, especially when you're doing fine tuning, like if you're moving the mouse very carefully in Photoshop, for instance, you tend to hold it much harder. And what happens is the busier I get, the more editing I do and the more it aggravates my back. When I say aggravate, it sends pain from the middle of my shoulder blade all the way up through my neck, down my arms, and it makes these 2 fingers and sometimes 3 fingers go completely numb. So then I've got to take anti-inflammatories, I've got to go and see a chiropractor and try and get it to settle down so I can continue doing my job. Products I've tried already are multiple ergonomic mouses or mice, who knows, are they mice? And I've also tried an arm brace that actually takes the weight off my arm to give me less tension on that area. And I've also had to wear an arm brace that goes around here to stop that pain radiating up my arm and shoulder. But none of these things actually really help long term. They only just alleviate it short term and it just comes back every 3 to 6 months. And I just go through that whole cycle again. So then I saw a video about a guy who bought this mouse because of carpal tunnel, which is soreness of the fingers and wrists and so on around that area. And I thought, what if that will help me with my problem? If you personally suffer from carpal tunnel or a back injury similar to mine, comment below. I'd like to hear from you and let me know if this mouse actually helps. So let's talk about what this mouse actually is. It is the Logitech Ergo M575 model. It's been around for a little while. It was an improvement on the M570 model. And what makes this different is it doesn't move. So you put it on the desk, put your hand on top, and you actually use the thumb mount to control the movement of the mouse. It has rubber feet on the bottom to stop it from sliding, so it gives you a bit more grip on the desk. It does move around occasionally, but you just move it back to where you were and it seems to stay there for quite a while. It has a scroll wheel on top like a normal mouse, 2 buttons and the other 2 buttons on the top here as well. And this trackball is actually really good to use. As you can see, it sits on a slight angle. When it's sitting flat, your hand is on an angle. So the good thing about it is when you're resting your hand on it, it's quite comfortable. But what happens is when you're using it, instead of you gripping it really tightly, which flexes your forearms and creates that pain, you don't need to do that anymore because you tend to rest your hand lightly on it because of the ball action. If you rested it and clipped it really tightly, you couldn't move your hand and move the ball. So you find that your hand is sort of hovering above it and puts less tension on those fingers and muscles around your hands. You can scroll quickly with the ball or scroll fast by rolling it really quickly, and that'll get you from one side of the screen from the other really quickly. Now the other bonus is that it is quite precise. You can get quite precise with the ball and move it around very slowly. And you've got the normal buttons of a mouse as well. The price of the Ergo mouse is 58 Australian or $38 US, so it's an absolute steal for the price. This mouse comes in black and white and can connect via Bluetooth and wireless as well. But one of the cool features of it is it takes one single AA battery and can last up to 24 months of battery life. Obviously, the more you use it, that battery time will come down. When I talked about the buttons before, you've got the 2 buttons on top and they're quite soft to click if you can listen. Not too loud, they're quite comfortable. The wheel is a little bit rattly, but you know, it's a $50 mouse. But the trackball is smooth as butter. The other button I really like is the like button. So hit that like button down below if you like what I'm doing here. Now let's talk about the not so good about this mouse. This mouse has a huge learning curve. What will happen is the first couple of days you use it, you'll start getting forearm soreness and different muscles will get sore because they're not used to working when you're using this mouse. It'll take you a good week to get used to the trackball and how smooth and accurate it can be. You'll feel like it's not quite accurate enough initially, but as you get to use it and the more you use it, the easier it gets. It becomes more and more comfortable over time. And after about 2 days, I was like, I don't know if this is the right mouse for me. This isn't really working. My arm's sore. My back wasn't hurting as much, but my arm was hurting down here and I wasn't sure what to do about it. So I thought I'll just keep going because I need to do something to alleviate the overall back pain that I constantly have all the time. And the other issue I have with this is it's not for left-handed people. I'm right-handed anyway, so it's not a huge issue for me. But for people who are left-handed, this isn't going to help you. So I'm sorry I couldn't find a left-handed one that would do the job like this one does. And now for the verdict. The verdict is, after a month and a half of using this, my pain in my back has completely gone. I did develop soreness in muscles in my forearm and so on as I was getting used to this mouse, but they went away once those muscles got accustomed to the use of it. And when I started using this mouse, the tendon in my back was flared up to maximum. I was about to take anti-inflammatories, but I thought I'd rather just see if this mouse will actually help. And it really did. It actually pulled that pain right away. It alleviated all the pain completely. And now I've got a mouse I can use all the time and not have to worry. But this is just one of the products I reviewed. Check out this video here on 4 must-haves in photography, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.